To talk to me more about this morning, I'm joined by Sue Edwards, who's from Premium CVs. And Sue, it is ever so easy to put together a CV, but how do you make sure it's the right CV?
Yes, good morning. That's a very good question. I guess there isn't a right CV, but what you should be aiming to do is actually tailor your CV to the particular job that you're applying for. So one CV doesn't suffice for every single job or anything at all. So the sort of CV I would write possibly is a general CV, which tells everybody what you can do, what you're capable of. But every time you send your CV off to somebody, it needs to be tailored to what the actual job you're applying for.
So how do you do that? You presumably you have a look at the company's website and see what they actually do first and try and find out more about them.
Yes. Also, the actual job advert that you see either in an agency or wherever, you need to use the same keywords they're using. Look at it and really see what they're asking. And if you feel that you can offer exactly what they're asking for, then you make sure that your CV has the right wording in it, the same wording that they're using, and then send it off. But
what's keywords?
Keywords are any particular specific words, like in key skills. If you're a good communicator, if you're experienced in something particular, if you have IT skills, anything like that that's specific. Is keywords.
What they're asking for, you need in your CV.
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
Because I had somebody, because we run a village shop and butchers, and we're advertising for a butcher about 6 months ago, and we experienced shopman. You know, the number of people who rang up and said, "I've never worked in a shop, and I can't do much butchery, but I'm sure I can pick it up." It makes you despair, doesn't it, as an employer?
That's ridiculous. That's totally the wrong attitude. You have to really feel confident that that job is you. Otherwise, there's absolutely no point in applying. It's a complete waste of your time and the employer's time too. So there's no point at all.
How do you start off with a CV? Is it basically just write your name down and then just list things that you can do?
No, there's a specific formula that I use, which always starts off with contact details, including email, telephone details. Then I do a personal profile, which is a short paragraph, about 5-6 lines long, which gives like a potted history of you. It's a little bit about your career, how many years you've been in which industry, a bit about your personality, and also a bit about what you're looking for next and how you could help a particular person in whichever industry it is you're looking for. That's followed by your key skills, which is extremely important. And again, that's a bullet-pointed list, very concise, very, very short. If it's all in sentences, it can be confusing and it's far too long-winded. It needs to be bullet-pointed. Key skills is followed by achievements, if you have any. And they're also very important because there could be something in there that actually makes you stand out from the crowd, and that's what a CV is all about. And then following achievements, it's your work history, but in reverse order. So it's latest first, going down, and I always go back about 10 years and then summarise anything before that. And the main thing with a CV is if all your best bits aren't on the top of the first page, your CV may not get read, the rest of it. So that's the important thing. So
it's the old, you only get a few seconds to make a first impression.
Exactly, yes. They say about 20 seconds or so.
Then the attention span has gone, it's on to the next one.
Exactly, yes. So you may go on the no pile.
But the problem is, I, like a lot of other people, don't necessarily see what skills I've got. And I don't like blowing my own trumpet. I can do this, I can do that, I can do the other. When you think, I can do it, but I'm not sure if that's what they're looking. You feel inadequate before you start.
Yes, a lot of people who come to me to ask me to write a CV say exactly the same thing, and until we actually sit together, which is what I do as part of my process, we sit together for about an hour and a half consultation, depending on which package they want, and we actually talk about it in depth, going right through their CV and trying to bring out all their good points. And an awful lot of people say, "Oh, I didn't realise I could do that," or "Oh, is that relevant?" And there are so many skills that people either forget because it's a long time ago, 10 years. But it's all relevant, and it could well be relevant to the person that they're sending their CV to. And if you don't get it right first time, you've had it, basically.
See, a lot of people feel inadequate because, when they went to school, they may not have got huge qualifications. But that's not that important to an employer, actually, is it?
No, it's not, actually. Qualifications, of course, are important, but they go on the second page, in fact, underneath your work experience. And I always just summarise qualifications. If you've been working 20 or 30 years, of course I don't put A-levels or O-levels. They're actually irrelevant. What you need is your diploma, your degree or whatever. Or quite a few people actually don't have that qualification, but they have the experience since then to back it all up with. And experience is the main thing.
Experience of life, isn't it?
Yes, exactly. Yes.
It stands you for good stead in the workplace.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, so you've got this far, you've started writing out your CV, then do you have to go through and edit it? Or do you get somebody else to read it, or what do? Because you might not feel as if it's thorough enough, or it's too much of something.
This is very true, actually. I obviously do a spell check, but of course computers don't always, pick out the right things. But
no, especially if it's in American.
Exactly. But yes, I read through it thoroughly, and then I get my husband to check it as well, because yes, another pair of eyes is brilliant. And then I always send it back to the client to make sure they're happy with it too, because of course it's your CV. So, if you're not happy with it, then they need to come back to me and say, what do you think about this? Shouldn't we change it? So, it needs to be spell checked, grammar checked. Dates are very important too. If work history dates aren't consistent and you've missed a bit out, that could be asked if they get to interview point. It could be asked, why didn't you work for a year or whatever it was, and you need to be ready to answer those questions.
This is it, isn't it? Because you're eventually going to be quizzed on this when you get to an interview.
Exactly, yes. Which is why it's so...
It's no good lying.
Exactly.
Because you won't remember.
I was about to say that. It's so important to get the level of your experience right, because if you overdo it and you get to the interview and you actually can't back up what you said, or if you undersell yourself, that can be just as bad, because you may not get the interview to start with. So, yes, it's important.
OK, take a break there, Sue. Back with you in just a moment.
Uckfield FM Traffic and Travel with Wilmots Citroën Uckfield.